beautiful parks to enjoy, and a safe, livable climate to call home. I want to start out by thanking the wonderful team here at CCAC for hosting today's event to let us know about their experience going solar and preparing technicians to service EVs. After our press conference here in this room, we will tour the solar array and then explore electric vehicles out in the parking lot. It's an honor to be here with Congressman Chris Deluzio here today, and I also want to thank our partner organizations, PA Solar Center, Moms Clean Air Force, Penn Future, Conservation Voters of PA, and Keystone Energy Efficiency Alliance, along with everyone gathered here joining us today. We'll learn about the many benefits of going solar, reducing air and climate pollution, improving the reliability of our electricity grid by adding more diverse sources of energy, and producing one's own energy and significantly reducing energy costs in the process. If Pennsylvania schools follow CCAC's lead, the benefits to the Commonwealth would be enormous. A recent Penn Environment Research and Policy Center report, Solar Schools for Pennsylvania, Repowering Education with Clean Energy, found that putting solar energy on the roofs of schools across Pennsylvania could produce as much electricity as is needed to power 187,000 homes each year, reduce climate warming carbon dioxide pollution equal to taking nearly 300,000 gas-powered cars off the road annually, and save Pennsylvania schools an estimated $342 million over the lifetime of the systems, even without soon-to-expire federal tax credits. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce CCAC President Quentin Bullock to tell us more about their solar array and its benefits.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Community College of Allegheny County's North Campus. We're honored to have Representative Chris Deluzio, along with other guests who are visiting today, to highlight the success of CCAC's energy savings initiatives. The Community College of Allegheny County is proud to be one of the region's leaders in efforts to harness the power of solar energy. The installation here at our North Campus is actually CCAC's fourth solar project. The college's first array is located on the roof of K. Leroy Irving Science Building on Allegheny campus. Two additional grant-funded arrays of solar panels were installed in 2018 at West Hill Center and Allegheny campus. West Hill Center also acquired a solar-powered electric vehicle charging station through the same grant. CCAC's officially flipped the switch to solar power here at the North Campus in January 2022. At about 543 kilowatts, this solar installation is more than 8 times larger than the one on Allegheny campus and covers the entire roof of this building. As CCAC's largest completed solar energy initiative to date, this project continues to be a win for the college and for the environment. The new solar array was installed by BAI Group and was facilitated by the Pennsylvania Solar Center through its GET solar program. Allow me to quickly share a few numbers. This array generates roughly 550,000 kilowatt hours per year, which is enough to supply about 1/3 of the facility's electric requirements. Our estimated cost savings to date are between $59,000 and $73,000, or $12,000 to $16,000 each year. This impact is significant. For example, here at North Campus, our solar electricity cost on last month's electric bill was 30% under the cost of electricity obtained from a third-party supplier. The graphic displayed here reflects the electricity purchased from the grid from two similar periods, before and after the solar array went into operation. As you can see, the amount of electricity purchased from the grid has been reduced, and there has been a reduction in the peak electrical demand and capacity charges as well. There are even time periods when the building is powered completely by electricity from the solar array. CCAC's commitment to solar and sustainable energy continues to grow. The new solar array that is currently being planned at CCAC West Hill Center will be almost twice the size of the installation here, and it will provide an even larger portion of that facility's electric load. We're grateful for the opportunity to house this installation and showcase it to you today. The partnership with BAI and PA Solar Center has been a great success, and the outcomes generated from this project have been very, very meaningful. The cost savings alone have allowed us to allocate more money toward other important college initiatives and programs, ones that benefit our students and the wider college community. CCAC's leadership and commitment to sustainable energy extends to our educational curricula as well. For example, sustainable energy topics are already built into some of the college's programming, including HVAC, building automation systems, and hospitality, to name a few. Most significantly is our role as the first community college in the nation to offer an electric vehicle registered technician apprenticeship program at CCAC's West Hill Center. That deserves a round of applause. The program offers a more focused pathway, providing hands-on training and technical expertise to meet the rapidly growing demand for skilled EV technicians. Launched earlier this year through a partnership with Pittsburgh chapter of the German American Chamber of Commerce, with funding for the curriculum development provided by Partners for Work, Southwest Corner Workforce Development Board, the electric vehicle technician apprenticeship is a testament to the power of innovation, equity, and collaboration. Through this groundbreaking program, CCAC is helping to create a pipeline of skilled technicians to dealerships where they can keep new electric cars on the road and contribute to building a greener transportation infrastructure. CCAC's vision to equip the region's workforce with the skilled employers' needs now and in the future, while setting the standard as an institution dedicated to contributing to a sustainable environment, could not be realized without the help of public, state, and federal and private partnerships. We're grateful to all of the organizations and investors who have made it possible for us to implement the successful initiatives that we are proudly showcasing today. Thank you again, and welcome to one of the greatest community colleges in Southwestern PA.
Thank you very much. And next, we're honored to have Congressman Chris Deluzio to speak with us.
Thank you, and Dr. Bullock, thanks so much, and congrats to you and your team for a great presentation, for running such a great organization, educational institution, and for really leading the way on a lot of this. I should also acknowledge my counterpart who serves in Harrisburg, State Representative Arvin Beckett, Dr. Arvin Beckett, a great partner on a lot of issues, including these ones. I know there are lots of organizations who put a lot of work into today and so much else. Thank you. And I see some of the EV drivers in the back. Who, good to see you guys. Thank you, ranks. It's great to be here. And look, let's start with a basic thing. Anyone who's paid an electric bill has probably got sticker shock lately. Energy bills, electric bills are rising. Costs are going up. It's a reality of life that we have to do something about. You're seeing action today that is to do something about it, that we can learn from that lesson. It is getting harder and harder for people, not just in Western Pennsylvania, but all over the country, to manage those bills on top of rising costs for groceries, for healthcare, for housing, you name it. And I hear it almost every day. I'm sure Representative Beckett hears it almost every day from constituents. Life is very expensive. People expect our government, our federal government, where I serve, to do something to make life less of a ripoff for people. The same time, we're seeing worrying signs in our job market. We've got unemployment hitting a 4-year high. We've got local businesses that I hear about in our part of the world, that my colleagues in other parts of the country tell me the same thing, that are having a hard time planning with chaos from Washington. So those are all real issues that families are dealing with, that people in Western Pennsylvania, that business owners in Western Pennsylvania are contending with and struggling with. And I think as an economy, it is not working the way we want it to for people all over this place that we love. People expect our government to deal with that. They also expect our government to deal with pollution, protect our air quality, to combat climate change. I'm a dad, and I've got 4 young kids. My youngest turns 1 in a few weeks. I think about the world that we will leave him, and his kids if he has them, or my kids. And I think that hangs over all of us, and we see it when there's a storm that rains more than we expect, and we have overflow flooding, and I could go on and on. It's a threat, not just to our short-term health, but our long-term economic viability as a country. And so I think things like high energy bills, job market problems, climate change, these are real big problems. Yes, they're huge problems, but we also have some solutions that we know we have to embrace. I think that's what today's about. You heard from Dr. Bullock about what CCAC is doing. We're seeing it here and how it can be done. A big solar panel installation right on top of us, I think, a little further up. That's helping them keep energy costs down. It's helping create jobs, helping protect and clean up our air. That's a really important thing. It shows people coming together here to make those kinds of projects and policies a success. And it's one of many of these kinds of projects that have been booming across Pennsylvania and the country, in large part due to the clean energy tax credits from a law called the Inflation Reduction Act and other similar programs that happened out of Congress in Washington. So we're here to celebrate some good, but also warn a little bit about some of the bad. The very same federal incentives and tax credits I talked about that have made projects like this and others possible, been on the chopping block. A budget law that I voted against. Some call it the one big beautiful bill, I call it the big ugly bill. You can decide which name you like better. They wiped out many of those tax credits that could help fund and support, make it more affordable to install solar panels or other improvements in your home or business or house of worship. I think that's a job killer to take those away. One estimate is that that budget law will cost 16,000 energy jobs across Pennsylvania. 19 gigawatts less new energy generation built in the next decade across Pennsylvania. We could see energy bills spike on average $190 by 2030. That's clean economy trackers estimates. So I think it's foolish and reckless to walk away from those kinds of federal incentives that are driving good job growth, that are helping us do things to clean up our air, to keep down energy costs, as you heard from CCAC. So today, I want to show and highlight, and thank you to CCAC for hosting us, how these projects can succeed and help us meet those goals, keep energy costs down, cleaning up our air, and getting our grid more resilient. And so I will keep up the pressure in Washington to keep those kinds of investments coming and going. We have some fights on our hands. One of those is a government funding deadline. But I understand how these projects have real impact here at home, on our health, on our energy bills, on our jobs. I'll do all I can as our congressman to keep those going. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next, I'll introduce Sharon Pilar at the PA Solar Center.
And thank you very much, Dr. Bullock and Representative Deluzio. We really appreciate. I'm honored to be here today to share this opportunity and to applaud your leadership in everything you're doing here to move common sense energy forward. Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Pilar. I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Solar Center. We're a nonprofit organization that works to uplift the benefits of solar to all Pennsylvanians. And we work to transform through our technical assistance program, which I'll talk about, which brought this program in collaboration with CCAC, to educate the public and policymakers about the benefits of solar and to work to advocate for robust solar policies in Harrisburg and in Washington. We believe that solar can benefit everyone in the Commonwealth because renewable energy is the cheapest source of energy that is available to us now. And it helps to reduce the cost of electricity across the board, whether someone has solar or not. This is the case because solar works best during some of the hottest hours of the year. It pulls down the demand for the most expensive electricity at the time from other sources, such as natural gas. And as battery storage technology advances, the benefit is even greater when paired with solar. A great example of this was in New England this summer, which they have a very large amount of solar and storage and EVs. On June 24th, one of the hottest days this year, behind the meter solar, like what you see up here on this rooftop, made up as much as 22% of the power being used in New England at the time. And as wholesale power prices surpassed over $1,000 a megawatt hour, that's when things get really expensive during these really hot hours when all the electricity for air conditioning is running. Solar helped to divert the consumption from the grid and save customers $8.2 million in New England just on that one day. So you can just see the amazing potential that we have, and we can do more of that here in Pennsylvania too. So we applaud the leadership at CCAC for their vision, and we're very proud that this project was one of our first projects in our Get Solar program. And that's our technical assistance that helps figure out the solar potential and find qualified developers to come build their projects. So their solar is benefiting them, and as Dr. Bullock said, it's stabilizing their energy costs for 20, 30 years, and probably much longer than that. And that protects them from the electricity price hikes that we saw this year and what we're going to continue to see. So this system will save them nearly $1 million over that time period and can then be used, of course, to hire teachers or expand their educational opportunities. And this is the true meaning of solar, what it does, and what it does to pull down electricity prices. And we're helping another 100 more projects to go solar. We're seeing these exact same stories about these electricity savings with solar. But as in New England, CCAC Solar is benefiting the community in other ways too, as well as because they're freeing up other electricity on the grid when it's needed most by their neighbors. And again, we could be doing more of this in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, as our representative told us, we are at a point in time when energy demand is growing very fast, and solar and wind and storage comprise about 90% of the energy that's on the queue, as we say, that's in our grid saying that they want to build. That is mostly coming from those resources and not other resources. And those are, they're saying, we want to build, we're ready to go for the next 5 years. So however, Congress just pulled back these tax credits in H.R. 1 this summer that extends the tax benefits for residential solar at the end of this year and for other solar projects in the next couple of years. And not only will we be slowing down the energy build-outs, but a loss of, we have 10,000 jobs in renewable energy in Pennsylvania. A lot of those are at risk right now. And so this is a time we need to be building more energy, not less, particularly with this huge demand for data centers. So this action by Congress will cost Pennsylvanians, as our representatives told us, billions of dollars in higher electricity prices over the next year. So thank you, Representative Deluzio, for voting against that bill and for working to move renewables, energy efficiency, and smart grid technology forward, and to the CCAC for building the career opportunities for these technologies, and that we can create and move into the new energy economy that will improve our communities, our homes, and our businesses, and increase our global competitiveness. And this is what really matters, so that we can spend money on the things that matter to us and not the high energy bills instead. So thank you so much, and thank you to Environment for having us.
Thank you so much. Now we'll hear from Robert Cook with CCAC about the EV Technician Training Program.
Well, that's a tough group for me to follow. I think they've covered pretty much all of it from what I can say. I'd like to start off first by thanking the individuals that helped us with that EV program. Pittsburgh Region Clean Cities and Rick Price, who happens to be right behind us back here. Have a little round of applause for also the college's non-credit program, Deb and the rest of her team for trying to help find the funding and all to try to help support this through the grants. The German-American Chamber of Commerce and what they have done, and as well as the college, Dr. Bullock, and the rest of the institution as a whole for trying to help us get this program up off the ground. It is really, it was a lot of work in the beginning, but at this point we're starting to see some of the benefits of it. This program for EV technicians is actually housed at our West Hill Center, which is out in Oakdale, Pennsylvania. And just to kind of put a shout out to our Odyssey Day event, which is October the 3rd, coming up next Friday. If you've never been there, it is an event that is funded by Pittsburgh Region Clean Cities. It was originally done by West Virginia University years ago, and Rick and I have been doing this now for, boy, gone on almost 20 years, so we're getting pretty close. But it is open to the public. It is all about clean energy. It covers everything from electric vehicles to natural gas vehicles, propane vehicles, everything from a scooter all the way up to a Class A tractor. It is open to the public and it's free, and we feed you breakfast and lunch. So it's a pretty hard event not to attend. Talk a little bit about the program as a whole. So the idea behind the program goals that we have for this EV program was designed to try to take technicians and elevate their skills to handle EV. When you start dealing with high voltage electricity, most dealership technicians are not used to that. As a result, we've got to really bring in a lot of safety to it. And we kind of cover that over and over again to make sure that the technicians, as they go to work on these vehicles, can do it in a safe environment. Through help with one of the grants that the German American Chamber of Commerce was able to obtain, we've got an EV lab that is a very safe environment for technicians to learn how to work on these vehicles in a safe environment prior to coming into the automotive lab, where they physically have to do it live. So they've got to make sure they glove up and do all the necessary things that are there. But it's a program that runs about a year in length, one night a week, which makes it easy for the dealership technicians, independent garage technicians, anybody that repairs these vehicles for a living, to come and learn more about what it takes to do that. Again, if you want to see the lab, it'll be open next Friday during Odyssey Day. We'll be helping to run tours through that facility as well. And why are we doing all this? The benefits are clean air. I look at myself getting really close to retirement. I remember starting as a technician in a shop in the city of Pittsburgh, where my family had a shop for over 50 years, going from the 1930s all the way up into the 80s. And when you walked into a garage, boy, people don't realize just the difficulty in breathing in that environment. We kind of used to tease each other. We threw wrenches at people for a reason, because when the car wasn't running right and you had all the fumes and you've got a headache in the middle of the afternoon and you're like, you got to put hoses on it. Now, we don't have any of that. Okay, unless you've been in a garage for years, like I've been, in the past, we don't realize how much of an impact this change in technologies across cars and trucks and buses really has on clean air. So my hat's off to you folks that are all looking at homes for clean air, et cetera, et cetera. This has really had an impact on a lot of that stuff. The last thing we really want to say talks about the consumer benefits. A lot of times you'll see people talk about electric vehicles and electric whatever. Oh, that's no good, we don't like this, battery costs, et cetera, et cetera. That has all changed. You had a lot of those naysayers in the early beginning that wanted to jump into the technology and realized that particular type of vehicle really didn't meet their transportation needs. So we look at individuals and say, look, an electric vehicle may not be for you, depending upon how you drive. But generally speaking, for the average person going to work and back, it is really, really hard to beat. Okay? And I encourage people to seek out good information, like what we offer on Odyssey Day next Friday, as well as some other events like this, to talk to people like the folks that you see in the back that were kind enough to bring their vehicles, that you get a chance to see here a little bit later, and talk to them and say, what did you really realize? What were the benefits of those particular vehicles? And that's what we want to try to promote. That being said, I'd like to introduce John Amato, who's also going to do some of the EV classes with me as well. John, if you'd like to say a couple things about the second cohort, okay? Because he'll be teaching this stuff as well as another individual. So, just real quick, John, so I wanted to make sure I kind of introduced him as well.
Just thank everybody, and thank you, Bob, for that. I'm excited to be part of this program with Bob. I think a round of applause for Bob. He put a lot of hard work into that. We got with you a little bit, and we kind of pulled from all the resources we have with the manufacturers that we work with. and I think we put together a pretty solid program. And you know, you talked about safety, and I think one of the things that our job as instructors is, this is new for a lot of technicians, and I think there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of hesitation. You know, here's high voltage. I remember doing some training early on with some hybrid vehicles, and they showed a special tool as a shepherd's hook. And I saw that, and I remember there was a group of technicians around me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I think a lot of what we're trying to do at CCAC with this program is, yes, we want to build a foundation. We want to show them it's safe. If you go about doing this the right way and you follow the rules, you can work on this stuff safely. And I think that'll help alleviate a lot of the hesitation, a lot of the fear, and create some excitement about moving forward with this technology. And I think we've seen that with the first class. So the second cohort, which I'll be teaching, that starts next week on Thursday, and I believe we have 12 students enrolled in that currently. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and thank you all.
That's great to hear. After we see the solar array on the roof today, we will convene in the parking lot outside to check out electric vehicles. We can hear more about the technician program. I'm glad to hear that there'll be technicians working. I'm happy that I drive an EV, and it's a huge priority, and the vehicle performance is amazing. So I'm glad to have people taking care of our cars, so we can keep enjoying them, emission-free driving. And we have a couple more speakers, and then we will be going out to the roof. So next we have Justin Carpenter with Keystone Energy Efficiency Alliance.
President Ray, thanks for being here. I'd also like to thank Wanda for helping get all this together. I'd like to thank Dr. Bullock for having us, and I'd like to thank Representative Deluzio for all the work he's doing in DC every day. So, as she mentioned, my name is Justin Carpenter. I'm the Policy Counsel for the Keystone Energy Efficiency Alliance. We're a trade association of more than 70 businesses that perform energy efficiency-related work across the Commonwealth. Energy efficiency is pretty important, as you've been hearing today. It saves money for homeowners and businesses and is the bedrock of a clean, just, and resilient energy economy. Through the installation of highly efficient heat pump systems, building mobilization programs, and even at the utility level of the deployment of demand response and distributed energy resources, energy efficiency programming has resulted in thousands of dollars of energy savings for every manual and child in Pennsylvania. It also supports jobs. Energy efficiency represents the largest and fastest growing sector of the overall energy workforce, and energy efficiency-related companies represent more than 100,000 jobs in our state. These are both small businesses and large. They're contractors providing building upgrades, efficiency improvements, and weatherization to homes and businesses across Pennsylvania. They're solar installers providing secure, reliable, and affordable energy to Pennsylvanians. And they're well-paying, family-sustaining jobs that will be the backbone of our energy economy going well into the future. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, energy efficiency is good for the climate. Every reduction in energy use that results from efficiency programming directly leads to fewer emissions from power generation. That means cleaner air for our communities, less extraction of fossil fuels, and overall long-term health improvements. These kind of benefits are more important than ever now. With the projected spike in demand from AI data centers looming in the future and household energy bills are skyrocketing. These are also the kind of programs that we're in danger of losing. As Congressman Deluzio referenced earlier, the big, whatever we want to call it, bill is revoking some of those tax credits that have been used to install these programs. Now is the time we need to be pushing for more efficiency, not pulling back. So we need to be working together to save these tax credits so we continue to save money, save jobs, and save the environment. Thank you.
Next we have Gavin Lynch, a volunteer with Moms Clean Air Force.
Thank you. Since I'm one of the last speakers, and knowing firsthand how hard it can be to focus during a long lecture, I'll definitely keep my comments short. Clean energy is a powerful tool for protecting my future. I say my future because my generation will be among those most impacted by our current environmental choices. Apprenticeship programs like CCAC's Electric Vehicle Technician Program are putting power in the hands of youth to embrace and help power a clean energy future. Affordable zero-emission energy for families shouldn't be political. Heating and cooling should be as basic and American as apple pie. My family has saved almost $10,000 through the clean energy tax credits made possible by the Inflation Reduction Act that are currently being phased out. We recently purchased a heat pump, and by the end of the year, we will have solar panels on our roof. Solar panels can help cut electricity costs and climate-warming pollution, all while reliably providing energy and creating cleaner air for kids like me. The clean energy tax credits were an amazing opportunity for families like mine, made possible by the efforts of people like my representative, Congressman Deluzio. This year in April, an extreme weather event hit the Pittsburgh area, and my community was severely impacted. Families were without power for over a week, with power lines dangling in yards, and school was canceled due to the dangerous conditions. We know extreme weather is made worse and more frequent due to climate change. And now, the Environmental Protection Agency is considering rescinding the endangerment finding, a foundational part of EPA's ability to protect us from the health impacts of climate change. For a safe climate, agencies like EPA, NOAA, and FEMA must be adequately funded and must maintain their core task of addressing climate change to protect families. Where do we go from here? Clean energy must be a part of our shared vision for a healthy future for families where clean air is a right for all kids. It's really that simple. Thank you.
Finally, Natalie Davidson from Penn Future will wrap up our remarks.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Natalie Davidson. I am the Allegheny County Civic Engagement Coordinator with Penn Future and Conservation Voters of PA. Our organizations work across the state year-round to advocate for environmental policy at all levels of government. Our goal is to ensure that everyone has access to a stable climate, pure water, clean air, and a responsive democracy. I want to thank our great speakers for coming out to speak today on the positive solutions happening right here in the Commonwealth. We know climate change is real and driving more and more extreme weather events that impact our communities in a million different ways. And so our work is even more important today. This showcase of clean energy programs at CCAC shows us that we have the solution to help mitigate the effects of climate change at our fingertips right here. And as we will see today, these clean energy initiatives will lower energy costs and create good local jobs. That's why we need to spread the word that clean energy equals cheap energy. This is not a time to go backwards, as some in Washington want us to do. We hope folks will reach out and get in touch with our organizations to help to hold their elected officials accountable to ensure we create a sustainable and equitable Pennsylvania for all. And I also want to finish by thanking our representatives, our partners in our community for continuing to advocate for clean and renewable energy across the state. Thank you so much.
With that, we can take any press questions, and then other questions we'll have as a discussion during our tour of the solar array. So do any press with us today have any questions for speakers?
So I would like to question for Councilman Deluzio. I mean, what is your hope really at this point that these tax credits should be restored in the future? Like, what is sort of the path forward?
To be blunt, I think, let's start with the fact people want cheap energy and clean air. I think these tax credits are about accomplishing exactly that. And my blunt answer is I think a Democratic majority in the Congress will take as a priority restoring these tax credits to keep costs down, protect our clean air and more. So I think we need to have a different control of the Congress and the House and the Senate to force the president back to the negotiating table to restore these tax credits.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Do you guys get net metering for the solar you put on the roof? As in, does the utility ever pay you if you put this much?
Yes.
Yes. They do. Yeah, did you want to?
Elaine?
Yeah, we do, we have net metering, and we sell the excess electricity back to the grid and
Great. So we're going to gather here with the speakers for a quick picture, and then everybody. We're all going to go out to see the solar panels, so you don't want to miss that. And then we'll hear more about the solar array here.